So Fantasy 5 workout that I got. When you're doing this workout or you're looking at it, consider three things: luck, law of attraction, and data. So luck is just like playing a quick pick and getting two good numbers. Law of attraction is more now for the data. We'll get to this and start looking at the index graph. All right, so looking at the index graph, you got the NDX line when it goes down from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll show you the placement of where the numbers are on the graph. Then you have the numbers in there next to it. And then you have how many days that number has not came. So when you're looking at this graph, you see at number 1, 4 has been out 33 days. Okay. Starting from 0 days at the slot of 42, 39 just came last night. All right. So when I'm looking at this, I got the lows in the yellow and then the high numbers in the rose color. So all throughout the graph, you can see everything above 20 is the rose color. And then you have the bold numbers, like number 12. It's in bold because it came the previous day. That's where a number fell the previous day. That's the previous slot that it fell. 14 didn't come yesterday, but 12, the slot that 14 is in now, came yesterday. And sometimes I see that the previous slot sometimes fall the next day. So next to the index graph is the day of the week. So every day of this week, like yesterday was Monday, today Tuesday, right? Yesterday was Monday. So every Monday, these numbers came. The previous weekday was yesterday. The previous day was yesterday. So Monday, 2, 6, 10, 18, 39 came. And the previous Monday before that, 2, 6, 12, 25, 41 came. So today, 9, 13, 19, 31, 37 came last Tuesday. And the Tuesday before that, 10, 11, 17, 25, 39 came. And then below those numbers, you have the index from when they fell, what slot they fell in on the index graph. So, and then average that out. In the black, you have the averages of the numbers that came and the numbers of associated where each number fell. So that's just an average. And most of this chart is based on average and math. So if we go down, we're looking at the current year, like yesterday, 2, 6, 10, 18, 39 fell. And the day before that, 2, 12, 27, 35, 41 fell. So this is just telling you what came in the last 5 days. And was a 4 evens and 4 odds. And how much those 4 evens and 4 odds add up to. And the next slot of 5 numbers is the previous year, like last year, on this day, last year, this is what came. So just giving you some history. And the previous year before that, on this day, this is what came. So that's just telling you what comes. And, I look at that sometimes, but I really don't go off those previous year and previous day. Sometimes it gives me something, sometimes it don't. I really don't. I look at the even and odds more than anything from the previous year and the year before that. So sliding down to 3 out of 5 day after follow-up numbers, meaning yesterday 3 numbers fell, and these are the numbers that came back after they fell. So if you can understand that, the graph that is pulled from is this right here. So it's just telling you how many numbers, 3 out of 5, what came after that, and what was hot, what was average, and what was cold. So that's where I pulled that information from, and y'all haven't seen that graph yet. It's a whole big thing. This is the mean and deviation chart. So from this chart, the mean is 5, right? You go down, the mean is 5. So in this slot, it could be 5 more or 5 less. So that's what this chart is giving you. So 5 plus 2 is 7, and minus 2 is -3. So I would assume in between these two numbers, and that's assumption, I would assume what will come today will be in between these two numbers. And then so we taking it from the deviation of the chart below with the colors, and it's deviating in the slot. So if you look at it, the deviation for the second slot, which is in red, is 7. So 7 plus 6 is 13. So I would assume that the number that's coming from these two graphs is gonna fall in between 13 and -1. That's the deviation from the number that came last night. But if you look at the bottom in purple, the deviation ranges from 6 to 20. And these are more likely because these are based on the last 50 drawings. So what will come in between in this slot will be in between 6 and 20, 0 and 10. So you can eliminate certain numbers to fall in this slot from 0 to 10. So anything above 10, you don't want to choose for this slot, 0 and 10. And then the next slot, you want to choose something from 6 to 20. And then the next slot, you want to choose something from 13 to 29. And then the next slot, 22 to 36. And then the last slot, 31 to 41. So, like I say, this whole chart right here is based off the last 50 drawings. And what you got is the deviation, you got average. The average number that'll fall in between the last 50 drawings. And then you got the most frequent number that has came in the last 50 drawings. And then you got the mean. Yeah. So in this last track, number statistic track, it comes off another tab that I got on the spreadsheet that is based off intervals. It's based off the minimum of when a number came. Like it might have came once and then came back to back, which would be 0. Or it might have came the day after the next, which would be 1. And then the max interval, which a number fell. Like this number normally falls within 1 and 9. If you look at the number 2, the number falls in 1 and 9. And right now 2 just came yesterday, so it's at a 1. It's within the range of coming. That's why that's in a blue. But that's a graph you haven't seen yet. But if you look at it, it's simple math. We just dividing to get a percentage. The points is in a percentage, 1.5 and above these numbers, which is 1.5 up until 4. That's overdue numbers. These are overdue numbers. And then you have the due numbers, which is range in between 0.8 and 1. And then you have the low numbers that normally comes back to back. And on this graph, I normally see 2 to 3 numbers coming a day. Like I say, it's based off luck, law of attraction, and data. So you got to look at those 3 things